Kevin O'Leary. All right, we're definitely going to watch this clown. Okay, let's see it. Here we go. People are very vindictive, it seems. No, people just want to be told that they're right. That's all. Yeah, there's nothing really too special about that at all. People talk about these things like they're real issues people disagree with are true idiots. Logan Paul drama podcast video. Yeah, I'll watch that one too. Don't worry about it. I'll get into it. Here we go. Kevin O'Leary on why he invested in FTX in his recent conversation with Sam Bankman-Fried.
I want to understand how much money you lost in the contract, but I also want to understand how the investment and this ambassadorship happened at the time that it happened. You did disclose it, but I want to understand how you went from calling crypto garbage at one point, as you know, to deciding that this was something that you were going to stand behind.
Yes,
I mean, like, why? The thing is, man, like, I would actually respect the guy if he just came out and he said, listen, Sam paid me a bunch of money and I figured I'd give it another try. Like, if he's like, yeah, listen, it was a lot of money and I was like, okay, let's see what happens.
Call that conversation, calling it garbage, right here on this show in 2017. That was a time when a New York hotel was being tokenized here, and I was looking at that, and the regulator let me know they were not happy with that idea. And that's when I stepped away from this, because clearly the regulatory environment was not prepared. Then facts changed. I saw the Canadians issue the first ETF with Bitcoin as underlying, Ethereum, then Switzerland opened up, then Australia opened up. And then I said, wait a second, world's changing, I got to be an investor. And that started my journey. I'm an investor.
Okay, give me a second. Does anybody really believe this shit? I mean, it's so crazy to me that people like this guy go on, and like, the thing is, they also give him a platform too. And they're sitting out here tossing this guy softballs so we can talk about how he's been victimized by something that he got paid millions of dollars to advertise himself. The only part of this that I do definitely believe is that he probably doesn't really understand crypto one way or another.
In the largest regulated exchange in Canada, called WonderFi. The wallets are called BitBuy. We're regulated by the OSC. I have my accounts up there. Right. But I felt that getting involved when I was approached with Sam Bankman-Fried, that I could get an inside seat on what was considered then. And I gotta tell you, the institutional interest in FTX on the U.S. equity was unbelievable. The amount of people that approached me saying, how do I get a piece of this deal? And I said at that time, I am a paid spokesperson. I cannot bring you as an LP. Not a single dollar that I lost is anybody else's money except mine. That's important for me because that's an issue.
How much? Well, that's not really true, because like, if you're a spokesperson for it, you can also lose other people's money by encouraging them to use the website and to use the coin. So like, what he's saying is like, it's like, it is generally true that he did not directly tell people not to do this. Oh, fuck. Are we good now? We had a bit of a lag spike there. I don't know why that happens. I have no idea why. Okay. All right, so yeah, anyway, let's listen to what he said one more time, just so everybody can be on the same page, since we had a little bit of lag there, okay?
Anybody cannot bring you as an LP. Not a single dollar that I lost is anybody else's money except mine. That's important for me because that's an issue.
And not a single dollar that I lost is anybody else's money but mine. Yeah, but like, how much money did you lose? Because like, if you get paid $15 million and you lose $5 million, you still made $10 million. Like, I don't know why this guy's trying to fucking play ring around the rosy with this bullshit. Like, we know what's going on. You got paid a bunch of money to advertise a fucking scam. You didn't really look into it that much. Nobody else really did either. It's not really that much your fault. But the fact that, like, whenever I've seen this guy interviewed for, like, a number of different things, he did not disclose that he was a a spokesperson, a paid spokesperson for FTX, or that like, oh, well, Sam Bankman-Fried just got in over his head, or, you know, it's not really his fault, or I'd invest with him again. Of course you would, because he paid you $15 million. I can't believe people take these guys still seriously. He's contractually obligated to not say anything bad about FTX or SBF. I think, like, so you're saying a non-disparagement clause. Yeah, you're right. That's definitely true, but he could also decline an interview entirely.
How much were you paid?
Total deal was just under $15 million, all in.
Just under.
Including a bunch of agents and that I had to pay because I needed SAG-AFTRA release to
That's true. So it might have been only 14 or 13 million, guys. So it really wasn't that much money. When you hear 15 million, it might have actually only been 12.
able to do commercials for it, and when I did that.
See, like, the language here that this guy's using is very effective on people that have a IQ, a room temperature IQ. Just under that amount. And then he's using other agent fees. You know how much agent fees usually are? It's like 10 to 20% in most cases. So, like, we're not talking about, like, the agents are taking half of his money. They're probably taking at most 20%. What's 20% of that? It's three fucking million. So he's going to be making somewhere, he's making over $10 million on this, pretty much no matter what.
I put about 9.7 million into crypto. I think that's what I've lost. It's all at zero. I don't know because my account got scraped a couple of weeks ago.
So his account he had $9 million in crypto, and his account got scraped, and he doesn't even know what happened. Wow. Wow, what a surprise. Who could have ever expected that?
Data, all the coins, everything. So then I lost the money I invested in the equity as well. Those are zeros too. It was not a good investment, Andrew, okay? I don't make great investments all the time. Luckily, I make more good ones than bad ones, but that was a bad one.
Okay, let me ask you this, though. When you made this arrangement, this is back in August 10th.
Actually, to be fair, like, this guy is asking him big dick questions. He straight up asked him, like, why the fuck did you do this? Like, you know, you were a paid spokesman, and then how much money did you get paid? Yeah, straight up.
And 2021.
Yeah.
You said the following. You said, to find crypto investment opportunities that met my own rigorous standards, that was your phrase, of compliance, I entered into this relationship with FTX. It has some of the best crypto exchange offerings I've seen on the market.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Given that you were the spokesman and ambassador for this company,
yes, because
what kind of diligence did you do around this issue of compliance, given where we sit today?
Well, I mean, yeah, what diligence? Yeah, he's getting pressed. He's not happy at all.
Obviously know all the institutional investors in this deal. We all
Wait, what?
look. I obviously know all the institutional investors in this deal.
So he knows everybody else that invested in it. So if you knew everybody else that invested in it, but then earlier in the interview you were talking about how you weren't going to influence their decision to, like, invest in it or not, does anybody really believe those two things? So, I mean, either he's lying or, like, he's implying a lie. What a massive coincidence. Yeah, I'm sure he just happened to know all of them and he never influenced any of these people. Like, come on.
All look like idiots. Let's put that on the table, okay? We relied on each other's due diligence, but we also relied on another investor.
So he relied on somebody else's due diligence. And I think that we know whose due diligence he relied on. He relied on Sam's. That's who it was. He was like, oh, Sam wouldn't do me wrong, and if he did, at least I got $15 million.
Theme.
Yeah, he's using the idiot defense.
That I felt drove a lot of interest in FTX. Sam Bankman-Fried is an American. His parents are American compliance lawyers. There were no other American large exchanges to invest in.
So now we're going to use nationalism as a defense for why you didn't look into it. Because if they were Mexicans, well, I mean, then it would have been a totally different situation. Because, I mean, bro, they're down there in Mexico. Who knows what's going on down there, right, Kevin? What a stupid fucking... Like, this is so pathetic. How does anybody take this clown seriously at all?
Wanted to invest in crypto as an infrastructure play. So many of us said, wait a second, who's coming to this deal? We knew, for example...
And also, like, by the way, most of the, like, all of the scams and shit like this that have happened with, like different, like, stock things, etc., these are 100 or 200-year-old scams. And the people that were doing these scams weren't doing them in South America or in Alaska or in Russia. No, bro, these were people in America doing the scams back in the 1800s. So using the argument that, like, oh, well, Americans don't scam on this type of financial stuff is just, like, wrong in every way. It's wrong contextually because you're appealing to nationalism, and it's wrong historically because almost all of these things that are laws because Americans did them the other way. Jesus. Alaska? Well, yeah, it's pretty far away, okay? Wasn't a state then? Yeah, it was not a state then, okay? What do you want me to use? Like Greenland, Iceland? Fucking Africa? You think these tax scams and stock scams got started in Africa? No, most of this shit happened in America.
Sounds like
Tiger.
It sounds like groupthink.
Did
you know there was no CFO?
There's no groupthink involved at all. It's just money. Like what do you mean groupthink? Like it had nothing to do with groupthink.
Look, at the end of the day, to say that there was no CFO is also a bit of a falsehood. This was a nascent industry with a disruptor at its helm, creating positions that didn't have traditional names, okay? That's just the way it was. In retrospect, yes, it's a mistake. However...
So what he's saying is that because it's a new and emerging industry, you don't need a CFO, or you don't need somebody who is in charge of finances. This is just, like, I mean, listen to how he says this.
No CFO?
Look, at the end of the day, to say that there was no CFO is also a bit of a falsehood. This was a nascent industry with a disruptor at its helm.
So here's what I really dislike about this. So he's saying it's a new industry, right? It's like, oh, wow, it's this new thing. And a disruptor is not necessarily a bad thing. And in a lot of cases, whenever you're referring to markets, being disrupting to the market is actually something that is that has implied innovative qualities to it. It's actually it's a compliment to say that somebody is disrupting like the pharmaceutical industry, or somebody is disrupting the like phone industry, etc. So you're using a word that has a double meaning to try to imply that Sam Bankman-Fried was actually disrupting it in the financial industry in a positive way. And so you see how and you can see how this clown fools a bunch of people that sit around and they watch him. Because they're not thinking about it like this. Yeah, they're not thinking about it. Yeah, he disrupted everybody's money, exactly. It implies severely outcompetes other products, so it'll be better for consumers. Yes, it implies, yes, that it severely outcompetes other products, so it'll be better for consumers. Well, there's a lot of other ways you can say that there's a disruptor. What I'm saying is that a disruptor in the context of innovation and becoming part of a market, an emerging market, is considered a positive thing. So even after all of this stuff, this is after Sam Bankman-Fried. When did this happen? 13 days ago. Maybe he wasn't arrested by then. But listen, he already was exposed for all of this shit, and he's calling him a disruptor.
Creating positions that didn't have traditional names, okay?
Didn't have traditional names, yes. And so again, the implication is that because he's in such a new and innovative industry and he's such a massive disruptor to the economy, or sorry, to this market, that he doesn't have traditional names because he's so far beyond that.
That's just the way it was. In retrospect, yes, it's a mistake. However,
what? Like, yes, it's a mistake. Of course it was a mistake.
feel obliged at this point to go to the end of this, particularly.
What does that mean?
I mean, guys, here's really the fucking bottom line, okay? Do you think this guy would be on this interview making excuses if he didn't get paid $15 million? No. Okay. That's really that is what it fundamentally comes down to.
It means that I need to find where the money went. I'm going to start with my own journey, with my own account. Bankman-Fried reached out to me last Saturday, and I said, look, Sam, I am just one investor, but my account has a zero in it, and there are no accounting records. Where did the money go? And to the extent you
it was never there. It was all in crypto.
can help me, tell me, point me in the direction, because I will, on behalf of every other shareholder, go find where this money is. The next day we talked for over an hour, and he walked me through his scenario, and I learned a lot. Now,
so what did you learn?
Sorry?
What did you learn?
I learned, first of all, I said, what was the large...
I like how the interviewer immediately cut him off whenever he said, I learned a lot.
drawdown of your capital? Where did the cash go? One of the biggest uses of cash was to buy back his shares from Binance, which owns 20% of his exchange. And the reason he had to do that, according to him, was that every time they applied for a license anywhere, the Know Your Client got jammed up with Binance, where the ownership is opaque. And he had to buy it back. That cost him a lot, a couple of $2 billion.
But do you think that he was taking customer funds to do that?
Yeah. Did he take that money from customers to get it?
Well, the only way to answer that question, and I told him, and he agreed. I said, look, Sam, you start this journey with me, and wherever the chips fall, that's on you. Because, we're talking about this. I'm going to pursue it. I agreed last night when Pat Toomey called me to sit on that committee next week. I will be a witness there.
You plan to testify?
I've agreed to testify. He called me last night around 8 o'clock. I agreed to testify. I've spent a lot of my time on the Hill.
I wonder if he paid him more money to testify in his favor. It just doesn't really make sense that this guy is... I think that there's only a few different logical conclusions that you can draw with this kind of stuff. I think that probably one of the biggest ones is that he's either getting some sort of payout for this in some form of crypto, or, he feels indebted to Sam because Sam is going to do more stuff into the future. I just don't see why he would go out of his way to do this. The only other explanation I can think of is that he's trying to salvage his own reputation. Because if it looks like he's siding with a scammer, then he looks like an asshole. So what he's doing is he's trying to make it seem like Sam isn't a scammer, because if Sam isn't a scammer, then his reputation isn't as damaged. I think that's what the logic is. And he's trying to get his money back up by bringing him back up. Yeah, maybe. Salvage his reputation, 100%. His credibility's on the line, so O'Leary doesn't want to backpedal. Yeah. I think that's it, because this guy's known as some big investor guy. He's supposed to know what he's talking about, etc. And it's just kind of funny to me how whenever an actual interviewer here, this guy is a fucking G, who's asking him these questions, because he just asked them very short, obvious questions and then just let the guy dig his own grave. Yeah, straight up, good fucking interview by him. You're just going to rail at SBF and play victim? That's Employment Man? I think that, honestly, anybody that was involved with this kind of stuff, I wouldn't really take them as seriously. What bad thing did Kevin O'Leary do? Did he know it was a scam? Well, basically what he's saying is that whenever you are a person who has a lot of knowledge in a different space, let's say you're an investment person and somebody else asks you to look into their investment stuff, to be a spokesperson for their company, and you say that you looked into the way that it was regulated and the way that it was being basically controlled to make sure nothing scams are happening, and somebody asks him, how did you do that? And he just says, other people did that. Well, what did they do? I don't think anybody did anything. It's just common sense. Yeah, Kevin O'Leary produces tried to run for office in Canada, so he's trying to save something. Yeah, I think that's what happened. Did you see exchanges are not regulated yet? Well, he used the argument that because it's an American company or something like that, and his parents are regulatory people, that somehow there's no way it could be a scam. Which is like, okay, but this is just really not a very good argument.